Okay, so here's the deal. Luke Rockhold and Joe Pyfer are about to step onto the Real American Freestyle mats for a catchweight bout at RAF 13, and honestly, this matchup is making my brain spin in the best way. Let me break this down. First, Rockhold, a former UFC middleweight champ who retired in 2022, is diving headfirst into grappling, a sport he openly admits he's not exactly built for. Meanwhile, Pyfer, fresh off knocking out Israel Adesanya, yes, that Adesanya, in March, is swapping MMA gloves for grappling gear. Wait, what's going on here? It feels like watching a chess grandmaster suddenly challenge a UFC fighter to a boxing match. Why would these guys risk their rep in a sport that's not their bread and butter? Let's get into it. Rockhold's career has always been a bit of a roller coaster. Dude was a top-tier MMA fighter with zero wrestling pedigree, something that's almost a death sentence in the octagon. But here he is taking on a guy like Pyfer, who's clearly been experimenting with grappling long enough to make his MMA opponents pay. Now, I'll admit, when I heard Rockhold was joining RAF, I thought, sure, why not? Let the man have fun. But pairing him with Pyfer? That's not just fun, it's strategic. Pyfer's Adesanya win wasn't just a fluke. It was a statement. He's not here to play. This fight feels like a litmus test for whether raw athleticism and MMA savvy can compete with the technical precision of grappling specialists. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Catchweight. Why a catchweight bout? Well, Rockhold's been out of the grind for years, and Pyfer's still competing at 185 pounds in MMA. But here's the twist. I think this is RAF's way of saying, let's see what these guys can really do without the pressure of weight cuts. Imagine trying to adapt your entire game plan on the fly, knowing you're not at your physical peak for the sport. It's like asking a Formula 1 driver to race a monster truck. Sure, they've got skills, but the rules of engagement are totally different. And can we talk about the main event hype? Covington versus Muhammad is already setting the internet on fire. But Rockhold versus Pyfer might be the unsung hero of this card. Why? Because it's a wild card. Pyfer's got nothing to lose here. He's already proven he can beat legends. Rockhold, on the other hand, has his legacy on the line. If he tanks, critics will say, told you so. If he wins, suddenly, everyone's asking if MMA fighters can dominate grappling without the traditional background. From my perspective, this fight is less about who wins and more about what it signals. Are we entering an era where cross-training in combat sports becomes the norm? Or is this just a flashy gimmick to boost RAF's credibility? One thing's for sure. Joe Pyfer's career trajectory is wild. Dude's not just a striker anymore. After the Adesanya knockout, he's clearly been investing time into his grappling, and it's paying off. But does that make him a legitimate threat in a grappling-specific arena? I'm skeptical. Rockhold, meanwhile, has the advantage of desperation. When you've got nothing left to prove in MMA, you're free to take risks. He's probably thinking, why not go out swinging in a totally new arena? But let's not forget, grappling is a chess match and Rockhold's more of a brawler. This could go either way. So here's my hot take. This fight is the perfect microcosm of where combat sports are heading. It's not enough to master one discipline anymore. The lines between MMA, grappling, boxing, and even sambo are blurring. Rockhold and Pyfer represent two sides of the same coin. The veteran trying to reinvent himself and the rising star looking to redefine his legacy. Will it work? Maybe, maybe not. But isn't that what makes it fascinating? At the end of the day, I'm just here for the chaos. What do you think? Smart move or reckless gamble? Drop your thoughts below.